Hi, this is Billie Beene here with a U.S. News Flash Update. Today's date, May 30, 2024, time about 11 a.m. in Texas. And we have ongoing weather events happening in Kentucky. Sadly, we've had 4 deaths, so 1 individual still in critical condition from thunderstorm tornadoes in Dawson Spring, Kentucky, and Eddyville, Kentucky. That took place May 26. Now today for Texas, we still have 80% of Texas prepped for more thunderstorms, tornadoes. It's about 80% of the state with a more concentrated area near Dallas-Fort Worth. Dallas-Fort Worth yesterday experienced a derecho, a straight line wind up to 85 miles per hour, extending for 240 miles all the way up to Oklahoma. At the Dallas International Airport, they had winds up to 80 miles per hour that was pushing commercial planes around on the tarmac. So yeah, that came in. And we had strong thunderstorms also down to Houston. There was 1 construction worker in the Woodlands area. Woodlands is a suburb of Houston, north of Houston. He was a construction worker building a house, and he was killed by flying debris, tragically, yesterday. So that's going on. Now today in our space weather, we have circling the sun, that sunspot 3664 that gave us the G5 on May 10 when the U.S. did an above ground nuke test in Nevada. And today, May 29, we had early this morning a 1.4 X flare, multiple M flares. The radiation from that event did reach Earth within 8 minutes and impacted ham operator shortwave across the United States, Canada, and South America. And we have a second large sunspot now, 3691. The previous sunspot 3664 has been renumbered to 3697. And I have a Patriot subscriber talking about the effects of the G5 geomagnetic storm on May 10. I felt sick. I felt, acidic adrenaline. Yeah, I feel that way too in response to the radiation or the X flares, M flares. I felt clumsy, fearful. I just coddled myself through it. I know on those days what I hear from God is rest. So yeah, that's going on. And now we have this. I want to give a nuke update. So we know on May 10, when the G5 came in at night, the NNSA, National Nuclear Security Administration, detonated a nuclear bomb above ground in Nevada, coordinating with its Livermore location in California and its Los Alamos location in New Mexico to put out polarizing light to cover the mushroom cloud. Now, initially, they thought it would put out 4 megatons. It unexpectedly put out 16 megatons, which is equal to 0.008 kilotons. And so you may ask, well, how come the update on it is reports in the Nevada area from the house and windows rattling on the night of May 10 when NNSA detonated an above-ground nuke inside CONUS, the continental U.S. And you may ask, well, why aren't people talking about it? It could be due to mind wipe, doing away with the memory that was short-term before it went into long-term. And you ask, how can a whole nation of people be mind-wiped? Tx+Ky puts forth that it could be through the vehicle of chemtrails, based on the work of psychologist Carl Rogers during the 40s, 50s, and 60s. And in the chemtrails, we have aluminum, strontium, and barium, which, when it's facilitated with certain frequencies, can keep humans from taking something happening in short-term memory to long-term memory. So I submit, if we can find any records at all, I submit on the night of May 10, after the auroras came through, or during that process, there was most likely very strong chemtrails also being put forth. And now we have this. We have NATO doing that nuclear test inside the U.S. May 10, now prepping and going full blast to get the world into World War III, a nuclear war, most likely. Now, on May 24 and May 26, NATO, not Ukraine, NATO, took out two over-the-horizon radars for Russia. They tried for a third, and that's the part of Russia located close to Finland. And these radars are not to detect nukes coming over Ukraine, but coming from the Middle East and Europe. And it's believed that NATO is now prepping for a nuke war and pushing hard for that to go forth. So today, May 30, Lavrov, the foreign minister for Russia, says Moscow will perceive F-16s going into Ukraine as NATO prepping for a nuke attack on Russia because the U.S. demanded all F-16s coming from the U.S. and other NATO nations going into Ukraine be modified to be able to carry nukes. And now we have this. Also, yesterday, May 29, Russia put 11 subs into the Atlantic Ocean. These red circles represent what I perceive to be the location of these 11 subs, 3 to 4 off of in the Gulf of Mexico, and 7 or 8 off of the East Coast. Now that happened yesterday, and it's believed they will be here within 1 to 2 days. So that's going on. Now we have this with President Trump and his trial, the hush money, going on in New York, and we see it's come out by Stephen Gardner that Judge Merchan, this is the third President Trump related trial that Merchan has been the judge on. One previous trial was some made up fake charges against a 75-year-old CEO of President Trump's organization who was sentenced to 5 months on Rikers Island. And also another President Trump-related business trial. Merchan presided over all three. So we see in New York, we see this New York City trial, hush money, Judge Merchan and District Attorney Alvin Bragg. We saw also another fake trial at the state level with Judge Ergon and Attorney General Letitia James. So what we see in New York is an evil and corrupt court system that appears to be systemic, operating at both the city and state level. Now, the jury began deliberations yesterday, and they continue today. Judge Merchan has ordered President Trump to be present in the courtroom while the jury is deliberating. My perception is Merchan has this jury, and a lot of questions are going on about the deliberations. My perception is Merchant expects a guilty plea, and he'll have President Trump there, put the cuffs on him immediately, supposedly take him to jail. But do we remember Jack Ruby? So that's going on. Now, some recent polls of independent voters all seem to be supporting President Trump, with both independent male and female voters. President Trump is in the lead. So this concludes my flash. And baby, keep your powder dry, and it's a great time to prep and pray. I love you, and I'll see you soon.